What I'm going to do now is I'm going to read exactly what I posted on Facebook. I will share it to the Misfits with James and Travis Facebook page. So if you'd like to go back and read it or share it or comment on it. So here is what I wrote in the wake of Gilroy and in the wake of El Paso and in the wake of Dayton. As someone who has exercised his Second Amendment rights as a gun owner, let me be clear. This is a gun issue. As someone who is open about his bipolar disorder, let me be clear. This is a mental health issue. As someone who has played video games his entire life, let me be clear. This is a video game issue. As a white American, let me be clear, this is a racism, nationalism issue. And as someone who has seen this nation turn hard and selfish over his 49 years on the planet, this is a compassion issue. We need to quit skirting the issue. We need to quit protecting, quote, our segment of this continual national tragedy. We need to quit pointing the finger at, quote, the other group. We need to relearn what it is to be compassionate citizens of the United States. We need to be leaders in our neighborhoods, communities, and the nation. We need to sit down, roll up our sleeves, and understand that to curtail these frequent and sadly incrementally less shocking massacres, we need to change. It may mean we give up something to gain something in return. As a gun owner, if a woman came to you and said her 2-month-old daughter would live to adulthood, but only if you lose legal access to certain types of firearms, would you be able to look her in the eye and say, I'm sorry, but my right to own those types of guns is more important to me than your daughter? As someone who lives with mental illness, if that same mother asked you to go through extra screening or possibly lose your legal right to a firearm so that her daughter could see adulthood, but at the same time, you had more access to treatment, more avenues to live a stable, happy life, would you? As someone who plays video games, what if that mother asked to curtail some of the violence without consequence depicted in many of the most popular games, asked for more parental education on those games, and suggested some oversight of the end product, just so her daughter could have a long life? If we are becoming desensitized to mass shootings, couldn't people become desensitized to violence from repeated exposure to it, when the only consequence is being respawned or starting the level over? As a white person, what if that mother was a person of color and her daughter was as well, or a different religion? Can you look at any 2-month-old daughter with hatred in your heart because of her skin color, her culture or heritage, the religion she's born into? Can't you understand that she is as human as you or your own children? As a citizen of this amazing nation, this amazing concept in democracy, where we all are constitutionally promised life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, have we become so cold-hearted, so selfish as individuals and groups that we aggressively and at times violently pursue those rights at the expense of our fellow citizens? Shouldn't we be advocates for our brothers and sisters? Shouldn't we be selfless in our actions to allow all the opportunity to benefit from the best of what America has to offer? Yes, the vast majority of us do not commit these types of atrocities. The vast majority of us have never even contemplated the type of vile actions we've seen happen with more and more frequency in our country. But laws, regulations, rules, they're not for the majority. They're for the small segment that put the majority in harm's way. The changes we need will benefit us all. but we need to be engaged in the process of that change. Put down your rhetoric. Set aside your biases and fears about what may change. Visualize a nation where we lead the world in compassion and advocacy for all. We need to understand that change is hard. But for the sake of our nation, for the very soul of our nation, change is necessary. Let's all sit down at a big table like the adults we are and figure it out. All the facets, all the symptoms, all the contributing factors, and devise a plan to address it. Somewhere, a mother's 2-month-old daughter is counting on us. Can we keep looking that mother in the eye, shrugging our shoulders, and saying there's nothing that can be done? Can we?